Hey, what's going on, guys? Today it's another master grade review of a kit that I'm digging up out of my long time backlog. This is the original Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka, a kit that I've been holding on to since its original release. This kit released while I was living in Japan. My friend and coworker there at the time bought this kit for me, this exact kit for me, and I still have not built it now. This is going on 10 years, over 10 years now. I've been hanging on to this kit, waiting to build it up. Of course, I have built the narrative version when that came out, but yeah, this one I've been hanging on to for a long time, so it's kind of special to me. But it's time to get it built up and share that experience with you guys here for today's review. Let's go ahead and check out the Sinanju Stein Ver.Ka. Alright, so once again, some beautiful box art here on the front of this one. It's similar to the original Sinanju in that we have awesome artwork illustration there of the mobile suit right here on the front. Different though in that we do have a background image. So we did have that with the unicorn, we didn't with the Sinanju, and now for the Sinanju Stein we do have the return of the kind of image there in the background, which is looking very cool of the Sinanju sort of flying along, but Sinanju Stein, I should say, sorry, but just to give you guys a nice close-up look at that, I do love the fact that they actually include the decals on the Kotoki artwork here as well. Very nice. On the ends of the box, we got the same thing there, close-up of the head and chest. And once again, for this one, I have artwork on the bottom of the inner box here. So this is kind of like the back of the box here. You can see a bit about UC MSV. We've got the Sinanju Stein, Sinanju, some other mobile suits here from the UC MSV. As you can see, some of these have been made into kits, some of them have not. We still, in fact, do not have the Karakezulu. I'm not exactly sure if that's a correct pronunciation of that, but the Karakezulu there, sort of like a version of the Gerazulu with some like elements of the Saikomu Zaku, sort of. Anyway, it's a really cool design. Then on here, a big thing about Animax, about the episodes 1 through 4 of the Unicorn series. I don't know exactly what it's all about, but anyway, cool to see some artwork on the back side of the box there. Over on this side is about the kit and then about the manga series there. Got a list price for this one at 7,000 yen, which I believe was the exact same for the regular Sinanju. On the other side of the box, some information about the weapons. Here's all of our weapon accessories right there. Images of the fully painted and decaled kit right there, front and back. And then a bunch of detail images right there, a bunch of really nice photography of the kit. But with that, let's go ahead and get it opened up. All right, and here we've got, once again, a trip down memory lane with a little advertisement here from Animax from 2013 there, showing some cool unicorn stuff on it. Anyway, let's first take a look at the instruction manual. As usual, we've got the photo of the painted and decaled kit right here on the front, looking very awesome. Or on the back side, it's our titling, and on the inside is that beautiful illustration work there. We can see illustration of the Sinanju Stein with the Sinanju illustration there in the background as well. Looking very cool. Some more about the UC MSV. It's like the same stuff but what's on the back side of the box, but now here in full color, which is cool. We got the Delta Gundam, the Delta Kai. Fortunately, we did get model kits of the B-type Rezel and the Iwak Jagan, both really cool designs, but yeah, still no Karakezulu there, unfortunately. Anyway, folding that open here, we've got a bunch more images of the painted kit and the design work here for this model kit. For this design, you can see some more about the weapons, some more about the kind of lineage of the mobile suit here, a bunch of detail images showing off some of the details and gimmicks of the design, everything looking very cool. A big wall of text over here, and then some more about the Sinanju Stein right there. Our next page is going to go over the parts list, and then we're going to get into the construction. So that's going to continue on all the way to the very end about how to mount it onto an action base. And there we've got our color and decal guide. Now, fortunately with this one, the decals are actually waterslide decals. So I believe this is the first or one of the first Ver.Ka releases that did finally start to include some waterslide decals in the box. So that's awesome. You didn't have to buy them separately. The color guide is right here. But yeah, here's where all of those decals are going to be placed in and around on the kit, front, back, sides, top, bottom, and weaponry. Everything. There's the painted guide there for full frontal. And that's it for the manual. Let's check out the rest of our contents here. Starting off with this teeny little foil sticker sheet for the eyes and a couple of other little bits on there. I'm not sure. I think these go on the head actually, but a little bit of color correcting stickers there. More importantly, here's a look at that beautiful waterslide decal sheet where we've got white, red, and then a little bit of gray on there as well, but a lot of nice beautiful markings here for this kit. But alright, once again with this one, no polycaps. Let's get straight into the runners here with SB1 for our clear pink beam saber effect parts. We also got runner MP1, which is our fully articulated manipulator hand parts here in 1/100 scale. Runners A and B are some of our white parts here for the kit. There you can see some of the shield parts, weapons parts, parts for the head. Here's some more parts for the skirting and leg armor pieces there on runner B. Breaking from that briefly, runner C here is the runner from the original Sinanju with the addition of this new piece over here for the eyes of this runner here, obviously in plain clear. Then runner D is the rest of our white pieces of armor here for the kit, parts for the arms, legs, shoulders, everything here all in white. We got 2 of those. Then we got runners E1 and E2, which are going to be in a dark navy blue color. Runner E2, a copy of that little section right there. This is going to be parts for the feet, backpack, and shield. Looks like some parts there for the torso as well. Runners F1 and F2 are here in a light gray color here. You can see F2 being a copy of this half of the runner right there. Runners G1 and G2 here is starting to get into some parts for the inner frame. Fortunately, in this case, in regular PS plastic, not in ABS, so that's nice. These are going to be in gray with a lot of really nice detail on there. Here's runner H for some more inner frame parts here. We got 2 of these all in that same medium gray color. And then in a slightly lighter gray here for runner I is some gray parts for the weaponry, for the shield, and the new beam rifle. Runner J is a few parts here in red for the inside of some thruster nozzles and then for the missiles on the inside of the shield. Runner K is some inner frame parts here from the original Sinanju kit, but this time in PS plastic rather than in ABS as we saw it originally with the Sinanju Ver.Ka. Runner L is actually a few more white parts here. We've got 2 of these, mostly for the fuel tanks there. Runner N then also an inner frame runner here borrowed from the original Sinanju kit, but again this time in regular PS plastic rather than the original ABS. And lastly, runners P1 and P2, which are just snapped apart like that. This is in a lighter gray color. This is all the parts for the Sinanju bazooka. So the reason why they made it in the smaller size runner, or I guess in these 2 halves that could be broken apart, was because originally this was packaged and released as a manga included accessory. This was available packaged with an issue of the manga that you could get to go with your Master Grade Sinanju. Then of course now later on they released it as a part of the OVA version of the Sinanju MG kit, and then here with the Sinanju Stein as well. So very cool to have all the parts there for that awesome bazooka. But that's it for the runners. Let's go ahead and check out the kit. Alright guys, and here it is all built up, and just like with the Sinanju Ver.Ka that we just recently took a look at as well, with this one, it's just such an awesome, impressive kit. I love the size of it. For one, as you can see, it's a pretty large kit. Both the Sinanju and the Sinanju Stein, obviously the Unicorn, there was a number of quite large mobile suits from the series, and this is certainly no exception. The kit looks awesome here in the white color scheme, and I think you'll see once we get into taking a look at some different poses and the accessories and everything else here, it's just a really, really awesome kit. I will say the one thing that I really don't like about this is those articulated hands, but let's go ahead and get into it here with the accessories first. So for our accessories, we've got your basically very standard master grade Gundam loadout of accessories. We've got a beam rifle, a bazooka, a shield, an action base adapter, a tiny 1/100 scale figure of full frontal, and our 2 clear pink beam saber effect parts. But the difference with these are, compared to your standard master grade Gundam, is that these are awesome. And so obviously the beam saber is not really going to be anything that special, especially compared to the Sinanju that we saw before this that had some specialized beam saber effect parts which were very cool, and the beam axe. But it is kind of cool where the beam saber handle is stored here in the back of the forearm, so that opens up very easily, and then you can just pull the handle out of there to be held in the hand. As for our action base adapter and full frontal figure, obviously nothing really all that crazy about those either. It's the same full frontal figure that we had with the original Master Grade Sinanju. It is really nice though. But the shield is awesome. I love how the shape and the style of it is pretty much like exactly in between the Sinanju shield and the new Gundam shield. It's pretty much, if you were to take those and do like an image overlay of those 2 shields over the top of each other and kind of meld them together, this is exactly what you would get. It looks awesome. It's going to look even better once you have a big decal right there on the front of the shield. I think will look really nice. But love the overall shape and design of this shield. It's very cool. You have the nice red pop in there with those missiles on the backside, and this is just going to attach onto the backside of the forearm right there. So really cool design there for the shield. And the bazooka is awesome for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's just such a really cool design, and it goes great with this kit. Also, if you were to get this back in the day before the OVA version of the Sinanju was available, and you only had the Ver.Ka available, which did not come with this bazooka, if you got this kit, you could get this bazooka and then give it to your Sinanju if you wanted to, and you can combine this bazooka bazooka with the Sinanju's beam rifle. It unfortunately can't combine with our Sinanju Stein beam rifle, not for this kit anyway, but it is a really cool design that has this fold out handle here at the front, fold down handle there I should say. And similarly, like with the Unicorn's bazooka, this does also extend. The barrel will extend much farther there out to there. This top part is removable, and that's kind of a part of the sort of transformation gimmick of being able to combine this with the beam rifle of the Sinanju. So you're going to take that off, collapse that all the way down, collapse this, and then this part is what attaches onto the bottom of the Sinanju's beam rifle, and this part is what attaches onto the top. If you wanted to store this on the back skirt of the Sinanju Stein here, you have to take off that top part and collapse it like this, and that's how it's going to store on the back skirt. Anyway, with that part back on the top there, this side handle does also fold out like that for a two-handed grip on it. Overall, like I said, just a really cool design on this one. Oh, the back part here does also open up to expose the ammunition there at the back. So some pretty cool little gimmicks and a very awesome design. And then yeah, we have the beam rifle, which is just a really cool beam rifle just because it's so big and bulky. Again, kind of very similar, I think, into like, you can see the evolution from like the new Hainu beam rifle to something like this. It's very unique, I think, just in its overall design and shape. So I really like that aspect of it. It doesn't really do anything. There's no secondary handle or anything. In all of the weapons, you have a little tab in the handle, which is going to fold out and plug into the hand for a more secure grip. And while we're here, let's talk about the stickers here for the kit. So this little gray part at the top is a little gray sticker. It's a really kind of odd color app choice to use a sticker for, but there's that one there. Our two other stickers are going to be here on the head. One is for the eyes, which is understandable. It's just a clear part. The other one is for that chin. So you see below the faceplate part, there's like that chin part, which is just a gray piece, but in order to make that color accurate, you just stick this white sticker on there, and it actually works really well. It's not really noticeable at all. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't really like using stickers just because you don't like the way that they look, I think in this case, the very few stickers that we do have for this kit are all actually really quite useful and good. That said, if you did opt to paint the kit, they're all color apps that would be very easy to paint in if you wanted to get everything as accurate as possible. Now, as for just the overall look of the kit, I think it looks fantastic. You have the multiple tones of white there. This part here at the back, I notice I keep making this come off just because from holding the kit, from handling it, you're gonna like press down on this and then that kind of pops it out, but you can easily pop it back into place. It's just kind of a little bit of a nuisance there. That actually folds out like this for this thruster here at the back of the leg. And since we're just kind of naturally transitioning into it, let's just talk about the articulation here. So let's go back up to the head. The articulation here will be a little bit limited in terms of your up and down movement, down to about there, up to about there, which gives you like a decent range, but it would be nice if maybe the head could have gone up a little bit further, but the actual like outer part of the head is just going to be the same as with the original Sinanju. So at the back you have this big kind of frill there, which is going to block the head. I think it's just maybe actually a combination of the neck joint itself and that part, which is just going to block the head from going any further up. But going down here to the midsection, we really don't have much articulation here at all as far as like an ab crunch forward back, side to side. It's going to be pretty limited. You don't really have too much articulation there, but you do have some nice twisting motion here. And of course, our cockpit hatch does open up, and inside there, although you can't really see it, there's our seated pilot figure up inside the cockpit in the chest. Our shoulder joint will swing out to the front like so, and the shoulder armor itself will be able to move up and down on its own, as well as this hanging part here off to the side can move up and down like that. So ultimately, I think we can bring the arm up pretty high here. It's more than 90 degrees to the body, so that's pretty good. We have kind of standard rotation here at the top of the bicep, a double joint at the elbow, and then like I said, this part here at the back of the forearm opens up. Also, this gray part here at the front of the forearm kind of moves a little bit on its own like that. And then we have the hands. Yes, these hands. So you have a wrist joint and a ball joint there, and the fully articulated fingers, which in the process of putting this kit together, I already broke off a couple of the fingertips accidentally and had to glue those back on. I really don't like these fully articulated hands, so I definitely would want to swap these out. But I guess the nice thing about them is that you can put them in any pose that you could possibly want. But for me, I don't know, I don't like having those all fully articulated and pre-molded like that. It just makes them very prone to breaking, and once these are broken, they're basically, you can't put it back together and it's not going to be solid. You're going to have to glue it just because it's going to be very loose. And so there's small parts that are going to be loose if they pop out, and you're going to end up losing pieces. And so yeah, it's just not a fun experience. But going down here to the front skirts, those can come up pretty high, and you can see we have some nice detail both on the front and the back of all the skirting armor, which is nice. So plenty far out of the way, I think, for our range of movement for the legs. The side skirts is going to be a little bit more limited, and they can only move up a little bit, which is really not all that much. The back skirts can also move individually like this, and again, really great just design and details here, even on the back side, underside of here. I can show this to you. Underside of the skirt armor also looks really nice, details there. And then here at the back is the latch, which is going to open up for storing the weapons on the back, well, at least the bazooka anyway. So that folds out and you can attach the bazooka there onto the back skirt for storage. While we're here, let's talk about the backpack before moving on to the hips and the legs. So as you can see, there's a few different kind of sections here for these side parts of the backpack. Basically, the center part of the backpack doesn't move, so that's just going to be fixed into place. It's more just like these side parts, which can move up and down, side to side. You can also spread apart the kind of top and bottom section there. I have the fuel tank off just because this popped off, but the really nice thing about this fuel tank, I will say, compared to the original Sinanju, is that there's no seam line. So the original Sinanju kit, it was 2 halves and you had a seam line all the way down the middle. With these ones, it's just a one solid piece and then a cap piece at one end, a cap piece at the other end. And so you don't have seams on the fuel tanks, which is awesome. Anyway, back to the hips then, and as you can hopefully see up inside of there, the joint will be able to swing to the front and back there for further range of movement forward and upwards. That will allow you to bring the leg up nice and far. A double joint here at the knee gives you a really nice separation of these armor panels there at the knee, and some beautiful detail inside and out there as well. Here on the side, just like with the original Sinanju, these parts can be separated out to the side a little bit, and you can kind of change the angle of that forward and back as needed. Otherwise, keep it pressed tightly up against the side of the leg there. This front bit of ankle armor does move up and down right here. I already showed you this one here at the back that again popped out, but you can pull that out. Down here to the ankle, that will move side to side. More than enough, I think, for you to get a pretty wide stance if you wanted to keep it on the ground. Up underneath the feet, nice full detail there, and then the foot will bend all the way down like that. The toe bends down slightly, all the way to the front like this, and the toe bends up as well. So nice separation of that toe bend. Actually, the whole front of the foot, I should say, the whole front of the foot does move up and down like that, and then the toe bend as well. So really nice articulation, pretty much head to toe. So while there is maybe one weak point of articulation there in the midsection, otherwise nice articulation, really fantastic details, fantastic overall design of this kit, of the mobile suit, and the proportion, the part separation, the weapons. There's a lot to love about this kit, and so it's no wonder that it's definitely one of the most popular master grades, I feel like, in its different versions. Now we also have the narrative version, and then we have the narrative version Ver.Ka on the way, which is going to have even more improvements to the mobile suit. So if you haven't built this kit in any of its previous versions yet, or maybe even if you have, I would highly recommend checking out the new narrative Ver.Ka that's going to be coming out, because that one's going to have newly added color separation, part separation to the sleeves parts for that, which is pretty cool. It's also going to include the beam axes, which this version obviously didn't have. As far as advantages to either this version or the previously released narrative version, I would imagine, I think the advantage of this one would be having the different decals. I would imagine that the new narrative Ver.Ka is going to be coming with waterslide decals as well. It's just probably going to be a different decal scheme. So if maybe you prefer the decal scheme of this version, this one will be worth getting. Also, the color is going to be different a little bit overall. So if you preferred, the little bit more bluish, grayish kind of color scheme of the narrative version, or if you prefer this white color scheme of this one, that's something to consider. Between the new narrative version Ver.Ka that's coming out and this kit, as far as the weapons that you get with this, it's going to be the same. You're going to get the beam rifle, the shield, the bazooka. But yeah, with the new narrative Ver.Ka that's coming out, you have the addition of those beam axes, which is awesome. Also, you're going to have the addition of the grenade launcher, which is another kind of cool addition on there, a small thing. That and speaking of small things, new pilot figure included with that one. But just getting back to this particular kit, it's awesome. I think it definitely holds up still very well, despite now being over 10 years old. It's still a fantastic kit that I would highly recommend. So if you guys maybe don't want to wait for the new version, or maybe you just want to have both, I wouldn't blame you for that. If you've not built this kit, I would highly recommend it. Definitely pick up one version or the other, but just check out maybe which version is which one is maybe available to you at the moment if you are wanting to pick one up, and then maybe which version just comes with the different things that you would like to see in a kit for me, I love the fact that this comes with waterslide decals, so either this or the new narrative Ver.Ka would have that advantage over the just regular narrative version. Also, the new color separated sleeves parts, I think, with the narrative Ver.Ka is going to be pretty awesome. So there's definitely a lot of advantages to that release, which is coming up. So if you guys do want to pre-order that, I know that you can pre-order that at USA Gundam Store. I'll have a link to that kit down in the video description. But obviously there on the website, you can find all sorts of other different Master Grade and Gunpla kits available. Just final thoughts on this kit. It's one of those kits where there's really not much of anything negative that I could honestly really say about it. The only thing that I don't like about this kit is those fully articulated hands, which are pretty easily changed out just by using some of either Bandai's HD option part hands, which they do have available in 1/100 scale, kind of both the Xeon and EFSF version. I think the more squared versions of the EFSF hands I think might fit this design a little bit better. They're not going to be an exact match, and the colors are also not going to match if you're not planning to paint, but it's one option just if you were like me and maybe not a fan of these hands and you wanted to switch them out for something else. Otherwise, I mean, just switching them out with some different fixed pose hands from a different kit is always an option as well. But and another thing that I would highly recommend picking up with this kit is also an action base. It doesn't come with one, and I think none of the other different versions also come with one, but it's something that it's one of those kits that would highly benefit from having an action base just because it's such a cool design. I mean, there's a lot of cool poses that you could do with this just standing or in a kind of action pose on the ground, but it would certainly benefit a lot from having an action base to really be able to take advantage of the design, having it up on action base in a cool like space dynamic pose there, action pose. It's going to look really awesome. So that's going to do it for this review, guys. Thank you so much for checking it out. I love checking out these slightly, I don't want to say older Master Grades, not that much older, but slightly older Master Grades, and I'm glad that you guys appreciate taking a look back at some of these older releases here as well. So thank you so much for leaving a like, leaving a comment, and making sure that you're subscribed. It all means a lot. So thank you guys so much for all your support. Till next time, hope you guys all have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.